Next up in the Harvey Keitel box set from Imprint is 1995's Clockers, a movie that I saw way back in the late 90s for the first time, and it's one of those movies that always kind of stuck with me. It's fascinating in the way that it tells its tale. For the most part, it's an almost police procedural, and although we do follow the police detective, Rocco, played by Harvey Keitel in this one, it focuses on street dealer Strike, played by Mekhi Phifer, who is a young man who has fallen into where the rest to his friends, and although this is a lifestyle that he knows intimately and is successful at, it doesn't quite fit with him, but he can't see a way to shake loose the confines that society has put upon him.
Got the stomach for this shit no more, man.
So it all starts with a night manager of a fast food place who is shot. We see at the start that Rodney, Delroy Lorindro's character and runner of all these drug dealers and Strike, kind of takes Strike aside and says, you know, look, this guy needs to go. You're going to have to do something about it. And we watch Strike kind of weigh up the choices here, struggling to deal with what should be done. Should he make this step? This is a step that if he does this, he can't really go back from. And it's the first insight into the fact that this is not a world that he feels entirely comfortable being part of.
Yo, Strike, so with that train set you got, son?
Alright, kid. We're fucking Choo-Choo Charlie over there. You reading a train book? Choo-choo!
And then that man ends up dead that night. And there is a whole procedural element throughout it where we as the viewer don't know who actually committed this murder. It very well could have been Strike. It could have been someone else. Strike's brother confesses to the police that it was him that did the murder, and Strike seems content to let him take the fall for it. And it's this is a kind of inciting instant within the film, and you see Rocco, Harvey Keitel's character, just refusing to let go of this. You know, they've got a victim, they've got someone who is admitting to the murder, and he just doesn't like this because he feels like someone's pulling the wool over his eyes, and he just will not be comfortable with that and pushes forward.
And Darryl would have mistaken him for you, like there goes that motherfucker Strike.
Oh, man.
Because you and your brother in the dark, you guys probably look like two peas in a pod.
There's lots of splintered perspectives within this film, which I really love, whether we're watching Strike as he deals with his friends, as he deals with Rodney as a kind of father figure that brought him along but is definitely using him, as Keitel puts the pressure on him, as he has health issues, as he tries to cultivate a younger boy within his apartment building and integrating him into this world, something that probably happened to him. It's almost reluctantly that he does this. He likes the connection that he makes there. He likes the friendship and bringing someone along and making them look up to him, almost like a mentor. But at the same time, he realises entirely what he is doing and doesn't feel 100% comfortable with it. And it's that duality throughout this film that I love. I love the main character of Strike and how he is comfortable in a place. This is the only place he knows. This is the only lifestyle he knows, and he has made the best of it for him, doing things that he didn't feel comfortable with. But at the same time, he's always looking for an out, or it feels that way, that he doesn't want to be doing this. It's taking its toll on his health. He doesn't want to do some of the more reprehensible things, and he is kind of stuck within this neighbourhood, and I love that aspect.
Get out of here, man. You crazy?
It's yours. What did I say? Huh?
So what
What
you
did I
doing,
say?
Z?
Did you hear me? You hear me? You hear me?
Damn,
Told you
Tyson
to
on
leave my son alone.
You know, we've got this criminal who, yes, is a criminal, but isn't entirely bad. He has his good points. We're following a cop who is driven by instinct and isn't entirely bad, but isn't entirely good either. You know, he's kind of skirting the lines of pushing this situation, even though they have all the answers laid out for them. And he's going to make someone's life utter hell. You get some great performances. Keith David turns up in this one as a local police officer who's trying to build up this community as he sees people that he was friends with, that he spent time with, take a bad path and almost bring the community down. And it's what Spike Lee does best. It takes these people in situations where they've almost been primed to follow a certain path, and it's really hard to break free from that path, and there are different pulling powers within the environment to pull them in different ways, whether it's Keith David's character trying to pull them towards the good, Rodney, Delroy Lindo's character trying to pull them into the bad side, and the weight of peer pressure within the whole neighbourhood. And although it has that kind of social commentary going on, it's also a really good procedural, because we have this mystery of what happened to this guy, who shot him, and who is ultimately responsible for this. And even if we find out who the person that killed, who they are at the end, although they pulled the trigger, were they ultimately responsible for putting these things into action?
So you telling me how Rodney pressured you into capping Daryl Adams and will drop him down a hole?
I love Clockers. I think it's a tremendous piece of work. It's one of those movies that I get lost in when I watch it, from its phenomenal opening credits right the way to the bittersweet and somewhat uplifting finale. I feel it's just masterful. It's one of those movies for Spike Lee that is high up there amongst his best films, but it seems to be the one that's talked about the least. Clockers, tremendous film. I love it, particularly because of all the facets I spoke about. Just great deal of entertainment. Let's dive into the disc and have a look at the extras. Here we are in the disc for Clockers. Let's go to the special features. First up, we've got a commentary by film historian and filmmaker Daniel Kramer. Next, we have Laying Back in the Cut, interview with editor Sam Pollard. This is a fascinating talking head where he talks about almost keeps knocking back Spike Lee for projects, admires him, but just tired. All the films he kind of worked on, how he kind of struck deals to do editing jobs. It's so fascinating. Next up, we have Plausible Fiction, interview with screenwriter Richard Price, another great talking head. Didn't realise he wrote things like Night in the City, Colour of Money, his idea of working on these kind of things. Then we have archival interviews with Mekhi Phifer, Delroy Lindo, John Turturro and director Spike Lee, which runs for 19 minutes 44 seconds. And there is also the theatrical trailer, and that's the extras for Clockers. Here we have it. Clockers, part of this Harvey Keitel set that is out now. I would say, yep, it's another winner in this set. Fantastic. After a run of a couple mediocre films, really good to get back to that. One more to go now, and I'll be back once I've watched that. I'd love to know your thoughts on this one, so let me know in the comment box below. As always, there's more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, and manvfilm.com, always in which you can support me. Thanks for watching. See you next time.